This is the Anthem of the Seas, a huge brand new cruise liner. Peter and Angela Alupi were among the excited passengers on the £940 million ship heading down the American East Coast to the Bahamas.
This ship is what really attracted us. It's the second largest ship on the ocean. It had Broadway musicals and incredible entertainment.
Absolutely breathtaking. One of the most beautiful ships I've ever seen.
As we had all boarded the ship, the captain came on. He said there was a storm forming in the Carolinas.
Less than 10 months since her maiden voyage, for the first time, the Anthem of the Seas was about to be truly tested against Mother Nature. She sailed straight into hurricane winds off the southeast coast of America.
People at this point were nervous, a little tense.
Jared Johnson was in the gym surrounded by weights when conditions cut up rough.
That's when I heard a big crash and a woman scream, and I turned around, and what had happened was a trash can had actually slid across the entire gym floor and knocked this woman over, and that's when I thought, okay, this is getting bad.
Holy crap!
Everyone was kind of crowded around the windows looking out at the waves because they were so big. I've personally never seen waves that big, and I don't doubt that these people haven't either.
Look, here it comes. Oh my God.
180-mile-an-hour winds whipped up the sea and violently tilted the ship. Giant waves battered the 160-foot-high liner.
Oh my God, look at that wave. That was higher than our ship.
I'm in a storm. It's 123 knots the wind. Everything's moving around. I've got broken glass everywhere.
Horrible. 10,000 drowned.
Michael Ricketts and Martin Little's holiday video was turning into a disaster film.
It was something you'd actually seen in an American movie.
Well, we can't get out of it then, can we?
We didn't expect to actually hit a hurricane, and we couldn't believe what was actually happening on the ship. It was just horrendous, weren't it? The actual TV screen actually in the cabin, we could actually see the outside, and everything was just flying around and smashing and falling over.
Parts of the ship were being claimed by the sea.
Oh, something's out there. What is that? Oh, it's pieces from the ship. That's parts of the ship.
The winds picked up, the rain got heavier, and I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy.
Holy crap. I think we should move.
You look out on the horizon, you couldn't really see it, but you would see the edge of the boat, and it would tilt up past the horizon, then it would dip down several feet below that, and that threw you off quite a bit.
As 170,000 tons of steel bobbed around like a rubber duck in the bath, Captain Klaus Andre Anderson ordered all the passengers to their rooms.
The waves were 70 feet tall. They were hitting up on the 11th deck. The staff were in the corridors, scrambling, hugging and crying in some cases.
I saw everyone's reactions, and they were definitely nervous. A lot were scared. I noticed a couple people crying, just shocked. I saw this pregnant woman, and she was being guided with either her sister or mother, and she was crying. She was not happy. People were kind of like holding on to things and walking slowly, or walking like they almost were drunk. They couldn't, walk a straight line.
If the ship had rolled, it could have killed thousands, but the captain tried to keep everyone calm.
We're looking now at around 8 meters, which is around 25, 26 foot seas. So they are to be considered severe seas that we have on the to deal with.
It's absolutely unbelievable. The room's been a wreck, everything's been slung around and dropped everywhere, and glass in the bathroom.
And you can't see anything. You can't see any land, you can't see any horizon. It's just like a wall, isn't it? A wall in front of you. You can't see anything apart from the sea, and that is it.
Oh my God. This is bad.
We actually said goodbye to each other. It was very emotional, wasn't it? Because not knowing we're going to see each other again, you know, was the biggest fear, wasn't it? I never dreamt that I would die drowning. And this is one way that I never wanted to die.
In the early hours of the morning, the storm finally passed. Captain Klaus Andre Andersen put on a brave face.
Yesterday turned out to be probably one of my worst days at sea, if not the far worst day at sea. I know many of you was afraid yesterday. It could be much, much worse.
There were just a few minor injuries to passengers, but with another storm brewing and considerable damage on board, the decision was made to return to port.
There were 6,000 souls on board, and all that needs to be taken into consideration when deciding to drive a ship into a storm like that.
Owners Royal Caribbean refunded all passengers, but how many will be rushing to go on a cruise again remains to be seen.
To come home was very disappointing, but at least we're here to tell the story.
This whole experience has changed my outlook on weather and Mother Nature as a whole, and how unpredictable the weather can be.
Because of the sheer power of it and the size of that ship. And you're just helpless, totally helpless. You're just at the mercy of the weather. Absolutely nothing you can do, is there?
No.